leave that up to the audience to decide whether or not this is entertainment.
Hey, boys.
Boys! Little boys. They kick, they scream, and they whine.
Inside your stomach, it swells.
It's like, huh? I'm like, is this a song about fucking Skyline or what? Inside your stomach, it swells. It's like, dude, shut up. I'm like, you're a fucking idiot. Die. It's like, So how are you?
I'm doing all right.
Yeah?
Just causing a ruckus, causing mud.
Have day and night, causing a ruckus, causing mud. It's like...
I'm so glad you found that. It's so funny.
It was so random. It came up on just like those little... You know how like on YouTube now they have those like little YouTube stories that are like 5 seconds long? I guess they're trying to be like...
That's the first time I've seen one of those.
TikTok. Yeah, it's like... Yeah, it was just like, huh? But I saw that and I was like, what the hell is he talking about? Causing a ruckus, causing mud. I'm like, how can you cause mud?
Causing mud.
Fuck Bloodsport. We're just gonna talk about causing mud. No, don't fuck Bloodsport.
Could.
I could too. But yeah, I'm gonna pull my notes up here. Let's go ahead and go straight into it here, sir, with nerd news.
All right, nerd news.
Nerd news, little boy.
You want to go first this time?
Yeah, give me a second here. I had my stuff pulled up, but like as soon as I started, there we go. I went to click on it and it like disappeared for some reason. Oh shit. Maybe you should go first, actually. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay.
So my nerd news for the week is in gaming, actually, because they announced, or there's a trailer for a new game coming out called Aliens Fireteam.
Oh yeah, I saw that. It looks pretty legit.
Yeah, like hopefully it'll actually be a good Aliens game.
I know, right?
Yeah.
It looks.
Yeah. Co-op. I'm always up for co-op games, so.
Right.
And anything alien is always cool.
Yeah, I was actually kind of surprised that it's even taken them this long to like make a good Aliens game recently, because it's really not that hard. Either make it like Left 4 Dead, like 4-player co-op like Aliens, or make it like a horror game like the original Resident Evils and make it like the first Alien. That's pretty much the only two routes you should take with that. But they've constantly fucked it up.
Isolation or whatever?
Yeah.
Isolation?
Well, yeah, I think.
I never played it.
Yeah, that one came out like
good.
so quick. So not quick. It came out so quick. It came out so close to that other one, the Alien, whatever the hell it was called, that like really sucked. That like I think a lot of people were kind of like fuck Alien for right now.
Yeah, like the Marines game.
Yeah, Aliens cloning Marines. That's right. That like ended up like shit in the bed hardcore. That was so bad. I think that was like one of the first games to come out recently that I remember that like has this whole debacle now, like what that happened with Cyberpunk, where it's like a game is so hyped, then it comes out and it's like, oh my god, this game is so bad. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, hopefully this new one will be the best one yet.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Hopefully it'll be fucking awesome. Yeah. I mean, I want to see it do good. I'm like, trick my trick.
Oh yes.
Caution a trick.
All the game received are views.
Doing tricks, causing views. So my news is, I guess they're going to be opening, or they did open theaters yesterday in New York, and Liam Neeson was there to like greet people.
Really?
Yeah, and I was just like,
okay. Please see my movie, please.
Please give me COVID, please. I would assume that they would probably, like, I don't know. It didn't really say, like, this article was talking about it, and he was, like, saying he was, like, he's always been, like, you know, going to the cinema is, like, a huge thing for him, because I guess his parents took him there when he was, like, younger and stuff, so he's, like, that's why he got into acting. And I'm like, that's cool, but, like, I mean, hopefully they're being smart about it, and they're actually, like, making sure people don't have COVID before they just, like, let everybody into this theater. And they're distancing and stuff like that. I assume they are, but you know what I mean? It's kind of like, I was like, we don't need to be giving fucking COVID to fucking Liam Neeson.
He can handle it.
Star adds affability to his very particular set of skills to meet weekend punters for the marksman at the AMC Lincoln Square. Going to the cinema is a bit of a sacred experience, Liam Neeson and Honest Thief photography. Wait, what?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see once things open back up if, you know, going to theaters is as popular as it was beforehand or not.
Yeah,
I'm not sure it will be.
Yeah, I think there's, like, something to be said for, like, seeing a movie in a theater, like, but, like, most of the time it's a miserable experience.
Yeah, I know, I agree.
Like, I like the feeling of, like, a theater. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the big screen and all that kind of stuff. But, like...
when it's done right, it's great.
Right.
It's hardly ever
yeah. I mean, there's also, like, something to be said for exactly, like, the kind of people that you see it with, too. Like, if you're unlucky enough to see it in a big group of people that are all, like, super obnoxious, then it obviously sucks. But,
yeah,
you know, I don't know. I can't remember the last time we saw... I think the last time we saw a movie in theaters that was, like, super packed was when we went and saw Episode 3. Maybe.
It might be.
Because, like, everybody was flipping out and shit. Or maybe when we saw, like, one of the other Star Wars movies, because I think that people were kind of packed for those.
But even still, with the huge, like, recliner seats now and the small theaters, there's like 20 people in there, so it's like...
That's true. It's not as packed as it used to be when we would go. Like, Episode 3 was literally, I think we saw it, like, and we
Hundreds.
were like, yeah, we were... Thousands of people were in that theater.
Thousands.
Caution fucking death.
Caution mud.
Caution mud in my pants. So, yeah. I don't know. I think, I don't know. I might be overreacting, but... Let's go on to recommendations.
Recommendation. Ding, ding, ding.
You fucking did it again with your mic.
What, too much?
No, I think you peaked and, like, it cut the rest off.
Oh, no.
You were like, recommend! And then you were like, ah! And I was like, go.
Damn it.
That makes it even better, though.
Mike's
Sounds like a fucking ghoul got you.
Right.
I guess it depends on how close you are to the mic. You're like, I swallow.
Recommendation nation.
Yeah, that came through. Were you like, how close were you that time?
I backed off.
Okay, yeah, I think that's what it was. Yeah, you're like, by the way, before I swallowed the mic, I'm like, ugh. You're like, the time John sent me, like, his address, and I sent it exactly to the address he had sent everybody, and it was the address that I sent his cigars to. And he's like, that's not my address. And I'm like, what? Like, everything else I ever sent you got there. And then he was like, yeah, they sent that mic to, like, a school or something. I was like, well, you're going to go look for it because I'm not doing the work. I already bought you the fucking thing. That was my fuck up on your thing, though, because I think I sent it to you, like, to your neighbor or something on accident.
Yeah, I was like one digit off.
Even though I think that was the same thing I sent for the cigars, and they got it right, too. So I don't know if they just were like, I don't know. I think whoever sent the mics were, like, just idiots or something. Anyway, so what is your recommendation?
Okay, so my recommendation nation this week is The Irishman, the movie.
Not the cartoon.
Not the person.
Is that the Netflix deal or whatever?
This Irish Man.
Were they, like, de-aged?
Yeah, it's directed by Martin Scorsese with Robert De Niro, Joe Pesci, and Al Pacino. and they de-age, and I think they age also because it takes place over like 50 years.
Oh. They de-age and then re-age.
Yeah, exactly.
Hell yeah. It's an age off.
Age with the age move.
Dying.
And that's pretty much what happens. It's basically like Goodfellas, but they're all super old now.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
But Scorsese's at the top of his game still. It's great to see Joe Pesci again being awesome.
Oh yeah, man, for sure.
He kind of plays against type because usually he's like the hothead, but in this movie he's like super reserved, but still he's like the most evil, powerful guy in the movie.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a great movie. It's 3.5 hours long.
Damn.
Al Pacino plays Jimmy Hoffa, and he's like hamming it up in every scene.
He gets reamed.
Just at one point he does.
Yeah.
But yeah, excellent movie. Loved it.
Nice. Recommend it. 3 hours and whatever. Did it feel like 3 hours?
No, like I wish it would have been twice as long.
Damn. So it was like The Wailing, where it was like pretty good.
Yeah.
Nice.
It was just it flew by.
Holy shit. Just like a movie that you want to hear. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
I don't think you're as into like those crime movies as I am. So.
I
don't know
if you would recommend it for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think if it was like about a detective going after people, I would be like, I like that kind of stuff. But if it's about like gangsters and like mob people and like that kind of stuff, it doesn't really interest me as much for some reason. I don't know why. But I see the merit in it. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. It's definitely like all that stuff's brought us like Grand Theft Auto, which is like one of the most like huge games that's ever been made, like series.
Yeah.
You know, so there's definitely like, you know, that like you know, those are super influential movies like Godfather, Scarface, Casino, Goodfellas, like that kind of stuff. And I've seen like most of those movies, at least little bits of them and stuff. I think I've seen Casino all the way through.
That's a good one.
Yeah. And I don't hate them. It's just it's not like a series that I go out and like look for. You know what I mean? Like movies and like stuff like that. I don't know why that is. Maybe I don't like find the because a lot of times in those movies like horrible stuff happens to people, like the mobsters will kill like people and stuff like that and put hits on them and stuff. So maybe I don't know why I don't find that, like, you know what I mean? Not like people watch that just for that, but like maybe that's one of the reasons it turns me off. But like,
well, Casino, that's one of the like the roughest movies still.
Yeah, it's
like,
pretty
it's so
out of control.
The Irishman's not quite that gratuitous, but there's
right.
a few killings.
I'm like, it's shit. There's fucking killers in it. Yo. The only thing I really know about that, other than, you know, they did that whole thing with them de-aging, is that like I think there's parts from what I heard that like where like when it's supposed to be like the characters are supposed to be super young, when it's like Joe Pesci or like whoever, like, you know, they're an old person in real life, but they're supposed to be 30, but when they're beating somebody else up, you can tell it's like an old dude because it's like they're super stiff because they can't. But that's I heard about that, sure. But you know, but like it's not like I'm shitting on it. It was just kind of like I remember somebody seeing that in an article or something. But you know, whatever.
Yeah, it's true, and it is a little bit distracting, but I think just the rest of the movie is so strong, like.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't bother me too much, but yeah, there's one scene in particular where Robert De Niro is supposed to be like a young guy, and he like beats this guy, and just looks like an 80-year-old man, like
stomping on a guy,
weakly stepping on someone.
It's like Mr. Burns beating up somebody, and you're like, ugh.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'll have to check it out though, because like I said, I don't like hate that kind of stuff. It's just, I think for me also, it was like people like. There was a time where people were like saying like Scarface was like the greatest shit ever, and that kind of put me off all that stuff, and I was just kind of like, So there was also a time where people, like, you remember all those, like, parody shirts there used to be back in the day of, like, video game characters and all these other characters where it was, like, Scarface and stuff like that, and it was like,
yeah,
what the fuck? Why is that? Like, I thought that was so stupid, but, like, I think that was another reason why it kind of, like, turned me off to that. But
now I'm just thinking about Jane Austen's Mafia.
Yeah, baby! Jane Austen Powers. I guess I'll go ahead and go on to mine since,
All right.
Why not? So, Daft Punk recently broke up. I'm sure you heard about that or saw, like, their video. And, pretty much I was...
One of them died.
Yeah.
So sad.
Yeah. So, like... but, like, pretty much my recommendation is, like, if you've never, like, listened to Daft Punk, definitely should go back and, like, check out their music, because, like,
nice.
they have such a great career. They've been together for, what, like 15 years or so?
I think longer than that.
Yeah, probably. It's been a while, and, like,
been a while.
It was just kind of a shock that because I don't think anybody ever thought they would just, like, break up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You introduced me to them back in the day.
Yeah, I was kind of like, I found them kind of like, I think, in, like, on a thing where, like, back when you would go to a CD or, like, a record store and, like, I just picked out a random CD and they were on that CD. It was, like, a Daft Punk, one of their CDs, and I was just like, holy shit, this is fucking awesome.
Yeah, they're great.
And, yeah, I think them and Gorillaz are kind of, like, my two bands that, like, I kind of, like, heard about. Like, I think it's really the only two bands I've ever heard about before anybody else told me about them, because I'm pretty bad about music. So
don't forget about Venga Boys.
Oh, God. Dude, fuck that. I had so many bands that I found back in the day that were really bad, though. So I'd have to say those are the only two bands that, like, I'd say consistently people actually have respect for that are actual bands. Whereas, like, Venga Boys was like, it's that techno bullshit that, like, was horrible, like, was super prevalent back in, like, the 2000s. Like, you know, good God, dude. Techno sucks. Except for Daft Punk. They're more electronica, though.
Yeah, for the most part.
They actually, like, are artists, unlike most techno people. But yeah, like, yeah, Daft Punk, definitely give them a listen if you haven't. They're besides, I think, Gorillaz, like, one of the only bands that's actually done remixes of their own songs, and it's actually good. Like, there's a lot of songs that are almost more iconic that they've remixed with their own songs together that are actually, you know, I feel like, anyway. So, but yeah.
Can I add on to yours?
Oh, hell yeah, dude.
They did the score for the Tron sequel.
Yeah, I was gonna say Tron.
And that sequel is not that great, but
the music is fucking legit.
So good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it makes that movie worth watching.
I almost brought that up, but then I was just like, I don't know why I didn't, but yeah, I completely agree. It totally fits too, because, like, when you think of, like, Tron and then you hear Daft Punk's music, it's like, it's so obvious. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're completely right, because, like, to me, Tron, I don't think anybody ever thought Tron, even the first one, was, like, ever their favorite movie. Like franchise, you know what I mean?
One of our listeners, one of the Buddy Boys, is coming for you now. Wearing a Tron
He's
shirt.
coming.
Cause some mud. Cause a ruckus.
Cause some mud. Hit me in the stomach. Harry Houdini style, and I'll shit my pants and die. Causing mud. Okay. So, are you ready to go on to the main event, brother?
Alright, let's do it.
Okay, let me make sure that I have the weekly topic set up correct here. Oh my God, why is this taking so long? What are we talking about this week, sir?
One of our favorites, Jean-Claude.
Yeah, that is true. I had actually never seen this movie before.
Yeah, I've seen it a few times. It's probably top 5 Jean-Claude for me. It's not my favorite, but it's definitely one of the better ones in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I mean, I've never seen this movie, but I'd have to say, like, this is probably... I mean, I don't know a lot about Jean-Claude Van Damme's career, but, like, this is pretty, like, his most iconic role, at least I can think of. I'm trying to think what else
definitely one that I think, like, one of his breakout roles.
Right, like Bloodsport, yeah.
So what'd you think of Bloodsport?
I thought it was pretty good. I'll get into a couple things about the movie later, but, like, overall, like, I did like it, like, his overall film. There was a lot of, like, I don't know. This is, like, I feel like early in his career, so I kind of forgave a couple things about this movie, but, like, yeah. Some of the acting was a little, like, I don't know. It wasn't so much the acting was bad, it was just, like, he, like, I don't know, friendships and relationships form very quickly and become like...
I wanted to talk about that more than anything else.
Yeah, we'll talk about that as because I'm going to go ahead and I'm actually going to, like, talk about the movie and all that stuff, and then we can get into the actual talking about the movie. So I'll go ahead and first I'll give, like, the first little rundown here. Bloodsport is a 1988 American martial arts action film directed by Newt Arnold. It's funny. It stars Jean-Claude Van Damme, Donald Gibb, Leah Ayres, and Bolo Yeung, and a young fucking Forrest Whitaker as, like, one of the I guess military dudes that are trying to bring him back to the fucking... Anyway, we'll talk about that too. The film was partly based on unverified claims made by martial artist Frank Dux. It sold well at the box office.
Dux.
Dux fucks. Grossing $50 million on a budget of $1.5. That is ridiculous. Wow. Bloodsport was one of Van Damme's first starring films and showcased his athletic abilities. Yeah, man, for sure. Apparently it's a franchise. I didn't know there was more than one of these, but I looked and there's, like, a shit ton of these movies. So this is actually the rundown of the movie here. So Frank Dux is an American martial artist. His former teacher in the martial arts gives him an invitation to the Kumite, the secret martial arts tournament where only the world's best fighters are invited.
Kumite.
Dude, there's no fucking way. Yeah, okay. That's another thing I'm going to talk about too in this fucking film. Not that. That was actually, like, pretty, like, that song was pretty funny. Like, after the first little bit, it kind of, like, started...
We'll get into the songs.
Right. Frank shows up in Hong Kong for the tournament, but his COs in the U.S. Army are right on his tail. Frank wins match after match and shows promise that he may be the first person from the Western Hemisphere to win the tournament. Until the defending champion, Chong Li, gets his hands on Frank's friend, Jackson, and enters him into the tournament. And enters him in the quarterfinals. Now Frank faces an uphill climb. His friend is hurt. The U.S. Army is on his tail, and he's on the verge of making martial arts history. The question is, will he? The answer is yes, he will. He becomes the first person to ever win the Kumite full contact. It doesn't matter if you kill people tournament, but if you kill somebody, the people will, like, find that disrespectful and turn their backs on you for some reason. From the West. So he's, like, the first fucking, like, white dude to ever fucking win the Kumite tournament. So, yeah.
What are some of his stats? Because they
you want at the end? We can jump to that. If you can jump to that now if you want. That's like at the very... Do you want to do that now?
I was like, are you serious? Like,
do you want to talk about that now at the very end? Where they...
Yeah.
Okay. So, at the end of the movie, after he wins, he, like, pretty much goes back to the Army and is like, you know... Because I guess their whole thing is the Army or whoever doesn't want to lose their top guy, Frank Dux, to maybe getting killed. So, like, he's like, after they have the tournament, he goes back. And so he turns around on the plane and, like, looks back at, like, this, like, the love interest in the movie, and it freeze frames. And it says, This motion picture is based upon true events in the life of Frank W. Dux. From 1975 to 1980, Frank Dux fought 329 matches. He returned undefeated as the world heavyweight retired as the world heavyweight full contact Kumite champion. Okay, that's one thing. Now they go to the next one. Mr. Dux still holds 4 world records. Fastest knockout, 3.2 seconds. Fastest punch with a knockout, 0.12 seconds. Fastest kick with a knockout, they switch it up. It's 72 miles per hour now. I didn't understand why there was a difference between the
How
measuring.
Did they measure that, I wonder.
Not only that, but why would they be like the kick was a knockout at 72 miles per hour, but the punch was a knockout at seconds? Like they didn't keep the measuring the same. Most consecutive knockouts in a single tournament, 56. Subsequently, Mr. Dux founded the first American ninjutsu system, Dux Ryu. Okay, so
I'm sure all that's true.
56 knockouts in a tournament. Okay, that means that this tournament,
That's a big tournament.
that had to have 3,136 participants. I fucking did the math. That's fucking not possible. Also,
One, the tournament was just everyone, like there were 56 dudes all lined up, and Frank Dux just knocked them out one at a time, like in a row. He's like, boom.
so to get to,
Knockout,
it was
knockout,
like
knockout.
Mortal Kombat, where it was just literally you just went up the line of like all the participants.
And he knocked out Goro.
So it's said from 1975 to 1980 he fought 329 matches, and I actually wrote this part out. I said, so let's say that those were part of tournaments, because usually matches occur in tournaments. You don't just have fucking random matches like, with people, like, because you wouldn't count like okay, so like there's a part in this movie where he's trying to get to the Kumite, and there's like all these like dudes trying to stop him, like the police officers. Each dude he fucking knocks out there or like punches isn't a match. You know what I mean? You wouldn't count that.
Yeah.
So like, let's just say that the rest, like these were all part of a tournament. So we'll take 56 that he did there in a single tournament, and we're left with 273. So if you had like a tournament, like where you fought like 273 matches, like combined, that's like, even if they're not in the same tournament, that's like around 74,529 people that were involved in a fucking in multiple tournaments. You know what I mean? Like, what?
It could happen. Big world.
That is so fucking ridiculous. Like, I don't know. I think like it, like this movie was already out of control. Not that out of control, it's whatever. But when it came to like the stats at the end, and they were like, this motion picture is based upon true events, I was like, dude, you are so full of shit. Like,
Yeah.
And in a 5-year span, he had 329 matches, which he'd lost none of, because it says he returned undefeated. So, or retired. So it's like, dude.
He's pretty much the greatest human ever.
Exactly. Well, not only that, but no, he's not just the greatest martial artist of all time. He is so valued as like a like an army person, or like, an armed forces member, that they send like dudes out to bring him back on his own shore leave, because they don't want him to get fucking killed in a Kumite tournament. That, by the way, is supposed to be secret, but everybody in the movie knows about it.
Good stuff.
Yeah. So, My first thing when I saw was actually like the Canon logo, and that's when I was like, oh fuck. I was like, either this movie is gonna
that's
be.
when I was like, oh man, here we go. It's gonna be good no matter what.
I don't know about that. But this was early in Canon's life, I think. So yeah, like towards the end, there was so much shit they put out. But I agree, a lot of their stuff is really good depending on what time frame. Also, I watched this on the Showtime app. I signed up for it like for the trial. And the quality of this fucking film was all over the place. Like, sometimes there were, like, scratches on the film and all kinds of shit. And same thing with the volume of the fucking sound. I had to, like, fucking be playing, like, you know, like, with the remote the whole time. But, you know, that
sucks, man.
Yeah.
I should have let you borrow my Blu-ray. It's actually a double disc of Bloodsport and Time Cop.
Oh, nice. Is there any commentary on it?
No, there's nothing. It's bare bones.
That fucking sucks.
Yeah.
So the montage of Street Fighter characters in this movie doing their training.
It's so good. And each one has like a different style.
Right. Which kind of sucks that they didn't really get more into that, because you see them have matches, but like generally they're only in like one match and they get fucked up. And they don't really have any lines. Like, the only person to have lines is, like, the dude that's from, like, Revenge of the Nerds. The, the Jackson guy that becomes, like, friends with Frank Dux.
Yeah, like, probably half this movie is montages.
Dude, it is fucking out of control. I was like...
I love it.
Yeah.
Should have just gone 100% montage.
I probably would have turned the movie off, honestly, and just said you could just review this one. It was...
My favorite fighter is the monkey style guy. He's like a monkey boy. And during the first training montage, he karate chops a coconut.
The black guy, you mean?
Yeah. What did you think about that
guy? He was awesome.
Like he had no chance in the...
He was awesome, but I thought it was kind of weird that his fighting style was, like, fucking pretty much, like, so... I don't know. Like, it was, like, so, like, not a shock that, like, they would give that to a black dude. Like, the fucking capoeira stuff.
Yeah.
I think that's the guy, actually, that was in Walker, Texas Ranger or whatever. Like, his sidekick.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because he did martial arts, too. I could be wrong, but I could have sworn that I've seen him in something else. But yeah, I saw he fucking... Yeah, his was... I mean... Yeah, there was him, then there was, like, the Russian dude that was, like, a tall fucking Matt Weiss's brother that was, like, beating the fuck out of people. Dude, Chang Li in this movie is, like, roided like a motherfucker. I was like...
Yeah, Chong Li.
And then I looked it up, and that guy's actually still alive. I was shocked. I thought he would have been dead. Like, because of, like...
That guy's so awesome.
Yeah, but he's just so fucking roided and, like, disgusting. I was just like, ugh.
He's basically like a real-life Abobo.
Yeah, exactly. I was like,
But that dude is awesome. He's in tons of, like, kung fu movies, and he was in Enter the Dragon, actually. He fought Bruce Lee.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, I had only seen him in this before, but he seems super familiar. So maybe I have seen him in other stuff, just not in, like this. He's like the main bad guy in this movie, so he's like got a huge role in this film.
He just looks so villainous.
Right.
Like I just love he's got a unique look.
Exactly, yeah. He's like the dude that we watched in Tango and Cash that has like a huge like head.
Yeah. Robert Z'Dar.
Yeah, the chin and shit. It's like, dude, this guy's a freak. Dude, Frank Dux, like, young version was, like, an idiot or something. He was, like, doing a Van Damme kind of French weird accent, but he just sounded slow. Because his parents were, like, just French. But he was, like, and I was like, okay. Like, this is bad.
Yeah, that kid was not up to par.
Yeah. And then...
The thing I noticed is he's wearing a San Francisco Giants hat. And a New York Giants shirt.
Yeah, it was all over the place.
One's a baseball team.
Yeah.
One's a football team. So it's like Does he just like giants in general?
Right. Yeah, it was like they literally just picked anything out of like the props stuff and gave it to him. Also, like the dude that he trains under, like that pretty much like his training is like masochistic fucking beatings and shit for some reason.
He beats him bloody.
Yeah,
The first thing
it's
he does
like
is like
his son is a fucking racist and calls him round eyes. And then like 5 seconds later, like in the next scene, he like saves him, and then they're like best friends. And I was like, I mean, that's kind of like on par with this movie though, because people like end up becoming like best friends after like 5 seconds and shit. Like, they're like, I love you for life, and I'm like, what?
it's like, hello, my name is this. I will die for you.
Right. The father didn't age at all in this movie. Like, he's like,
Yeah, that's true.
I'm an old man. And I'm like, dude, you look the same as you looked like fucking...
Yeah, he's like, I'm dying now. It's like, wait, what? Why?
They never said why he was dying or anything. He's just laying in a bed 5 years after he, like, taught him how to become a master. Which, like...
He doesn't even look sick or anything.
There was, like, a 50-minute flashback of, like, Frank Dux' whole career, pretty much. Like, before he goes to see... Before they even get to, like... the Kumite tournament, or you really know what's going on with that, or what it is, like, he is shown to be, like, fucking invincible. It's, like, the only movie I've ever seen where, like, the main, like, training montage happens before, like, there was even a reason for it to be a thing. Like, I was like, okay. He just trained him... Like, you find out the reason why he trains is because he's always been, like, the training partner for the guy's son. But then when his son goes to the Kumite and fucking gets fucking murdered there, like, he is like, I want to go and, like, make you proud and, like, you know, pretty much do what, like, your son couldn't do because you're my father. Even though I'm like,
yeah. Don't
you have a mother and father? Because they show it in the beginning. Like, he's like... Nope. You're my pops, and I'm like, what? Yeah, I also thought it was funny that, like, there was a part where, like, the reporter, like, this reporter lady that becomes the love interest in this movie talks about, like, I want you to tell me about, like, the Kumite, you know, the secret underground fighting thing. And, like, literally everybody knows about it, you know what I mean? It's not really a secret, it's just, like, because everybody knows it's...
In all of Asia.
Yeah, it's like everybody knows it's happening, and, like... There's also a thing where, like, they go to, like, try to bring him back. Because they don't, like I said, they don't want him to, I guess, get killed or something. And, like, they lose him because he's so valuable to the military. But, like, why'd he even tell anybody he was going to the Kumite? Because he had already gotten approved for shore leave. And he was leaving. And then, like, he was supposed to go talk to the general. Like... Why didn't he just say, hey, I'm going to go here for my shore leave, and then just go to fucking Hong Kong instead, and go to the Kumite? Instead, he was like, I'm going to the Kumite, and they were like, no, you can't do that, because fucking you'll get killed.
Get him.
Yeah.
Get him, boys.
And then they went to go bring him back, and I was just like, dude, this is so... That part was pretty fucking stupid on his part. But...
Well, this whole movie is really stupid.
Oh, yeah.
We can just come out and say it, but that doesn't make it any less, like, entertaining and awesome. Like, it's totally silly.
Yeah, but there are certain things that I was kind of like, eh. I like the Asian dude with, like, a mullet that was, like, out of control.
Yeah.
That guy was pretty... he was, like,
That mullet was so sweet.
Was, like, the comic relief, kind of. But not really, because he was, like, every time fucking... Frank Dux would be late or some shit, he would be flipping his shit.
Yeah.
Oh, he's got, I guess he was, so in this movie he was taught the Dim Mak Death Touch, and that's like the ultimate, I guess, move of his, like, like his Shoshi or whatever, what's the dude's name that, like, taught him his karate?
Yeah, I guess you punch someone and it basically, like, explodes their organs.
But you can control where it is too, because they show him punching bricks, and he punches through like 5 bricks to hit the bottom one, and the bottom one explodes, and none of the other ones are touched. So, like,
Yeah, it's like a video game. Like he lined up the meters at the right moment, like
Right.
the A button.
So it's definitely one of these like this is a mystical like kind of like I don't know what the word is, like martial art kind of thing, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm like, there was this line, I actually wrote this down because I was like, huh? The guy was like pretty good, but brick not hit back. I'm like, yeah, but you're like not as strong as a brick, so if he hits you with that, you're fucked. So, like, what are you talking
And
about?
that is a total ripoff of the line that Bruce Lee says in Enter the Dragon.
Right, yeah.
Like it's the exact same. Or I guess it's just a tribute to Bruce Lee.
Right. He's like, this is just a tribute. You gotta believe. He just sings the whole song. It's like,
Tribute.
I think this is like the second time I've written this. Apparently, everyone knows about the fucking Kumite.
Well, before have we got to the training montage where he like is like drawn and quartered on this rack?
We were just kind of going all over the place. I think we kind of talked about how that's pretty much like his S&M training is like his training.
Yeah, that was nuts.
Also, like, there's like a part where he's like, they've got him on there, and like I don't really know if he told him what he was supposed to do, but he just like resists the bracings, and then he just breaks one of the things off, and then that's when he's okay, like he's fine.
Yeah.
He's like, you passed, and I'm like, okay. What?
It's one of like the 20 times that he does the splits in this movie.
Yeah, exactly. He does there's a part where he does a splits and then he punches a dude in the balls.
So good.
Right. There's a part.
That was Johnny Cage's move from Mortal Kombat.
Right. I thought it was funny because like the like the main guy that's over like the Kumite that's like I guess he's like the Grand Master or whatever, and he's giving the speech at the beginning like this we started this for the Black Dragon Society and all this stuff. I think that's what it was called, but like he's giving this speech and people are just looking around like who gives a fuck. I think it was supposed to be like people were looking at each other like sizing up the competition, but it just looks like people aren't paying attention. They're just like, fuck it.
So you've mentioned it a couple times, but can we talk about Ogre and his friendship with Jean-Claude?
Yeah. Jackson in this movie, as he's called.
Yeah, first of all, what did you think of Jackson overall?
I liked him.
Well, how would you describe his martial arts style or his fighting style?
He was like the wrestler in this fucking movie.
Yeah,
he was legit.
So brute.
Yeah. Honestly, though, like if a grappler fucking went into a martial arts tournament and he got a hold of anybody, he would instantly win. So I don't understand. He was doing really well because he would get a hold of somebody. Like, he was even fucking up Chong Li in this movie. Like, he just got overconfident and, like,
He had him.
Yeah, he started fucking up. But, yeah, he probably could have won this whole tournament. I mean, he wouldn't have won against Van Damme. But, like, he was really good. Like, his whole thing was he was literally just, like, he didn't do any karate. He just grabbed people and fuck it. He was like the like Zangief or like Mike Hager. He was like just the fucking big dude that like grabbed people or like punched them or like fucking threw them out. He just like threw people out of the ring sometimes, and you could win by that way. He would just throw somebody out. He was just clubbing the fuck out of Chong Li, and Chong Li was like fucked at one point. But I actually thought they were going to kill him because I'd never seen this before because, like, Chong Li, like, beats the fuck out of him when he, like, has his back turned to him. And then, like, he's in the hospital.
And he's such a good character that you cared, like, you didn't want him to die, right?
Right.
I love this guy.
Yeah.
So good.
I thought it was funny, though, that, like, him and like Van Damme are like lifelong friends after just that little bit, because at the end of this movie there's a part where he's like, wherever you go, or if you need me, I'll be there for you, and Van Damme fucking kisses him. And I was like, holy shit, dude, that's fucking legit.
Become lifelong friends after like 1 minute.
Yeah, well, yeah,
exactly.
Right. Also, I realized there's a part where like he's sick, or he got a concussion, whatever the fuck happened. He's in the bed and he's got like this bandage on his head. He's laying there, and the doctor literally has the stethoscope and he's just moving it all over his chest, and that's like the only thing he was doing. And I'm like, didn't he have a head injury? What are you doing?
Like how long do you have to listen to his pulse?
Right. Not only that, but he was like, these people were talking and he's like, get out. And I'm like, dude,
wasn't he drinking a beer too?
He just starts beating the patient.
But like I love that they like their friendship in this movie.
Yeah.
It's just heartwarming.
Yeah, honestly, like, to me, I think if this movie had just been Van Damme, it probably would have been pretty boring. Like, it still would have been a good movie, but, like, for them to have pretty much made it, like, you know, it's mostly about Van Damme, but a lot of the stuff that happens around the tournament and even hanging outside the tournament has to do with, you know, them, and even sometimes the one, like, their manager guy or whatever, that like shows them around, like the Kumite and stuff like that. So it's not like
fights themselves, kind of like wrestling. Like the fights themselves in this movie aren't great.
Right. I mean,
like, some of them are pretty good, but
I think that's why, like, if this,
there's so many missed like punches and stuff. That, like, it wasn't very well done.
Yeah, if like literally this has been all montage, I probably would have been like, I'm fucking out of here, like, because like to me, like, I don't know, like, the character building is, like, something that, like, I mean, there definitely has to be montage, like, in Rocky or in, like, Karate Kid and stuff like that, but, like, to me, like, the biggest thing is, like, obviously the infight and, like, you know, the characters themselves, like, Rocky and his relationship with, like, Mickey and, like, Adrian and Paulie and, like, even his opponent, and then, like, you know, Daniel and his, like, relationship with Miyagi and, like, his, like, girlfriend at the time, or, like, his opponent. In this movie, it was, like, I was just kind of disappointed because, like, the love interest was, like, literally this reporter that just wanted to find out about the Kumite, and then she, like, ends up fucking him for no reason. And then, like, the, you know, the good relationship he has with, like, Jackson, which is legit, but I liked his relationship with Jackson. I just feel like it was very, like, it happened, like, instantly. Like you were saying, they became, like, best friends instantly, which was fine. I mean, that happens sometimes.
But you, like, I think people experience that. Like, sometimes when you meet someone, you just, like, you instantly...
Yeah, you know, I agree. I mean, I kind of feel like that's how, like, me and you were when we first started hanging out. We just kind of were friends.
Yeah.
But I think it's just weird because, like, in movies, generally, that's not how it goes. Generally, like, there's a progression of character development.
Yeah, it reminded me of episode 7 when Finn and Poe become instant best friends.
Right, like out of nowhere.
That too. I thought that was great, and then they didn't carry that through the rest of the series for some reason. But
I think that was also mainly had to do with like a necessity. In that instance, they became bonded because either they worked together or they got captured by the Empire and probably tortured and killed.
Yeah, but they're like, hey, buddy, here, take my jacket, man.
Yeah.
You're my best friend.
It was also Poe was supposed to die in that movie, and he just took his jacket because he needed it.
Yeah.
But
a couple more things about Ogre, though. Like, at one point, they were, like, riding a bus, and he walks up to just some random woman and is like, would you like to date a real big man?
Yeah, before they're, like, friends or whatever, he, like, sees him hitting on this, like, random, like, lady, and she's, like, not interested. And he's like, fuck it. I was like,
who is that real big man?
Yeah, I was like, well, I thought, like, they were going to get into it at first because he kept looking at him, and I was like, is Van Damme going to, like, be that person that like interjects and like picks a fight with somebody if they're like harassing an innocent person, but like no, he didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
And then the last thing is, did you ever see Revenge of the Nerds 2?
No.
Oh man. I hate to spoil it, but in that movie, Ogre becomes one of the nerds, and like, it's actually like it almost made me cry. Like, it's so heartwarming.
Nice, yeah.
I think you talked about it. It's always good when the heroes and the villain like team up.
Yes.
So when Ogre becomes a nerd, it was like the best thing I've ever seen. And like,
yeah,
a series of stupid movies.
I think it's not always necessarily something that has to happen, but I think if like it's always like if you write like a bad guy good enough and you write like a good guy good like well enough, and then you're able to not be like an idiot and kill off the bad guy at the end of the first movie, you could have that character come back and like not even the next movie, you could even have him come back in a later movie and like kind of like change his ways or like team up with the good characters. And it's always, I don't think it's ever been done poorly, at least from what I remember. I mean, as long as it's, like I said, as long as it's characters that in the first place people cared about. If it's characters that people never gave a shit about, then it doesn't matter what you do with those characters.
Right.
Van Damme's a bare ass in this movie.
Yeah, that became his trademark for many movies.
Is like he would just show his ass, I guess?
Yep. He did it in like every movie for like many years.
Which is funny because like these movies are mainly for dudes, so I'm not really sure what that's all about. Maybe it was like to appeal to like the homosexual crowd or to like get more women to see his movies, maybe?
Yeah.
Because he's not like a bad looking dude, so it's, you know, he's like ripped in this movie.
Yeah, you mentioned him at the beginning, but like what did you think of him overall in this movie?
Van Damme?
Yep.
So like he's definitely like an ass like kicker in this movie for sure. I felt like I think it more than anything it was the writing. Some of the relationships, like I said, like him and the woman just kind of like became like love interests like instantly, and it wasn't like it was ever like he was trying to like go after her. It was like she wanted information, and then she was just like, "I'll sleep with you," and he was just like, "Okay." So it was kind of
token loving.
Right, it was just kind of weird. But like I didn't think his acting was like bad. I just felt like, I don't know. Like his character was almost just like he didn't seem to like give a shit, and then like something would happen and he would go fucking out of control. Like he was like, okay, that's fine, and then fucking like Jackson gets like knocked out and he's flipping his shit, and then like, okay, whatever, it doesn't matter, I slept with a woman, it doesn't matter, and then he gets blinded in the tournament and he's like, oh!
Dude, that's so good.
Yeah. So it's like, I think it was just kind of like, it was just like inconsistent, but it wasn't like, not like that's a knock, it was just, I can't put my finger on it. I think Van Damme's always been like that, though. Like, to me, like, I've always felt like when I look at him and when he acts, I just don't know what to think of him. Like...
Yeah, I think, I agree.
And it's not like I see him and I think he's a bad actor. I just look at him and I'm like, I don't know what's going on sometimes, you know what I mean? Like...
Yeah, I think that he gets by just, like, on his movie star charisma.
Yeah.
It was not the best actor, but that's okay. But I think over in like the 2000s or the 2010s, he turned in some legitimate good performances, like those Universal Soldier sequels I was talking about. Like he's amazing in those.
Okay, yeah,
but
I'll have to.
I think it's because he's good at playing like a grizzled old man at that point.
Okay.
And then he becomes like an undead villain in the last one, which is awesome.
Yeah, I'll have to check those out. It's funny because
like do podcasts on those at some point.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. You know what's funny is I haven't seen those, but it's funny because like he actually now that I'm thinking about it, he kind of reminds me of like Nicolas Cage or like Jeff Goldblum, or like they have charisma, but sometimes I'm like, I don't know what the fuck they're trying to do on screen. You know what I mean? I can't tell if it's bad acting or if it's good acting. You know what I mean? Because I guess it doesn't really matter at the end of the day if someone's acting is good or bad. It's just if it's entertaining, because it's a movie. It's entertainment. So he entertained me, so that was good. There's plenty of movies I've seen where like a good actor's in it, but like the movie itself, like the story was shit. Like all the people that were in Star Wars are great actors, but like the story was shit. So it's like everything I've seen them besides this.
Yeah, Harrison Ford sucks.
Right. Exactly. But like he's been like, you know what I mean? Like I can't think of like one bad movie like most of those people have even been in. And even the directors have made other good stuff, and then you like look at like the shit on screen and you're like, okay, this was committee hardcore. Like but yeah, this was a great movie. Okay. I liked it.
So can we talk about the songs?
Yeah, I forgot.
So during the first fight montage, there's a song called "Fight to Survive."
Is this by Stan Bush, Kumite?
Yeah, and if I could I read the lyrics?
You sure can, sir.
All right.
Is this gonna be like fucking Demolition Man, where it's stupid as fuck?
We'll see. All right, here we go. My body's ready. My heart's on fire. So it's like,
what?
Did he eat some spicy food or something? Or?
Yeah.
I'm gonna push it over the wire.
It's like,
which I'm not sure. Does that mean like he's gonna have a heart attack and die? Perfect timing, tight as a drum. The final battle's already won.
I do remember that line and thinking it was kind of stupid, because I was like, dude, what? The movies hasn't even really begun yet. What are you talking about? Right.
First round.
Right.
I'm taking hold of every moment, given strength by the breath of life. I'm gonna stake my claim. I fight to survive. Kumite, kumite, kumite.
Yeah, kumite 8 times, it says. Yeah,
I've worked hard every night and day, so I'm prepared to make my way. Mind and body are the perfect team, which you can't argue with that. Now's my chance to live my dream.
This is like you remember? Have you ever seen Mr. Deeds before, with Adam Sandler?
Yeah, once.
It's like when he would write those fucking like cards to Hallmark.
Oh yeah.
It's like the
writing. Want to take another pass at that?
Yeah.
But then there's a scene where are they cops or like FBI? Facing Van Damme.
Yeah, I forgot to talk about
military
this.
Guys.
It's the guys that are like Forrest Whitaker and the other dude are coming after Van Damme to take him back. And this whole, even without, so like we'll talk about the song, but like the actual chase scene is a joke, because he literally like outruns them
it's so stupid.
And he like comes back, and it's like they're trying their hardest to catch him, and he literally could run circles around them without any issue.
One of them's like an elderly man.
Yeah, and the other dude's like Forrest Whitaker, which is like, he's not like super fat in this movie, but like they're not making it like he's super in shape. Like they're acting like he's kind of not in shape. So it's like this old white dude and like this kind of like portly black guy are running after like the greatest martial artist and military man in history. And he's just literally doing all kinds of crazy shit and fucking...
It's so stupid.
Yeah.
Like you can't take it seriously. He's like...
Oh, yeah. It's a joke. It's a joke. Yeah, and they play this song that you're about to talk about, I think.
Yeah, and like the tone of the song doesn't match the scene at all.
It's just some random bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, what's it called? Like...
Steal the Night.
Yeah, yeah.
Should I go into the lyrics?
Yes! Hell yeah.
You hold your cards and they push the buttons on us. You can live fast or you can live it slow. There's no guarantees. You've got to gamble, just like me. Nonsense. And ain't it strange? You want to look, but you don't watch. I won't be where I don't want to be. I hear a gunshot, I fall down, and maybe you don't want to be caught. Ain't it strange when the morning comes, we'll see the light, and when the night returns, we'll steal the night. See the golden dawn and steal the night. You'll be where you belong. You'll steal the night. And one last verse. Everyone you win, everyone you choose, everyone you chase, everyone you lose. Every time you cry, every time you lie, everywhere you look, they just never know. Who's they?
Yeah, there's also a song where he's like, he goes on, like, after, I guess, like, him and his girlfriend have a fight, and then, like, what's his face is sick or whatever, like, he goes on, like, this bus, and it's playing this, like, song, and I think it's, like, On My Own or something like that.
Yeah.
That is another bullshit song in this movie, like, it's like, what was the point of, I don't know, like, at least that kind of fits, I guess, like, the actual, like, you know what I mean? Like, but it's still just, like, crap.
Yeah, I think I looked up the lyrics for that, and they were too boring. They weren't not too notable.
Yeah, it's just, yeah, I don't know. I mean, obviously, like, Kumite, like, the main title, like, the Fight to Survive, that is, like, pretty iconic for this, you know. Like you said, though, I mean, it's like they're nonsense lyrics. It's kind of like the shit for fucking Demolition Man, where it's like, okay, you didn't give a shit at all about this movie when you wrote this.
Demolition Man.
A Demolition Man. It's
so
like
we should talk about Forrest Whitaker and the other guy. Like,
yeah,
they're the worst at their job. Like, they're so totally inept. Like, they have no chance.
It's just
like
weird that they would send these two guys after
I know
a military
like,
guy.
Well, that's true. They probably were set up for failure by their bosses.
Right, like, why didn't they send, if they're literally they really want this guy back, why not send more guys? But if they're gonna send only two guys, why send, like, an old guy and a fucking, like,
right.
other dude? Like,
and there's
I don't
one
know.
scene where they try to taser him.
God.
Like, they block.
The third time they try to
someone
taser him in
blocks
this
the taser.
movie, where he, like, pulls out.
Jean-Claude just, like, snatches them out of their hands. Like,
yeah, well, there's a part
how could you let that happen?
when he goes to, like, taser him, or they go to taser him, and he uses a, like, trash can lid to deflect the taser onto other guys, and it shocks them instead, and then he just takes the tasers out of both their hands. And I'm like, what's the fucking point of this? Like,
they were terrible.
Yeah, they were useless. They were really no threat to him in this. I mean, that's the thing, though. It's like there really wasn't any threat to him in this fucking film in general. It was kind of like there were times when, like when he fought, like, Chong Li, but the only reason why that was the thing is because, like, he fucking cheated. Like, he would have completely lost if he hadn't cheated. I mean, he still lost, but, you know. It doesn't shock me, though, because, like, all that I've read up on this, like, Frank Dux guy, he's, like, a complete bullshitter. Like, so it wasn't a huge shock to me that, like, the you know, they also added in that whole thing where, like, the guy that he fought, he also had to overcome the odds. So it's like, not only was he fighting a guy that was, like, the defending champion, he was, like, fighting a guy that, like, he couldn't see. So he beat him while he couldn't see. And the guy was, like, a known killer.
He was like Luke Skywalker turning off his targeting computer.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I like this movie. I I think if, like, at the beginning of this movie they said this movie was based on true events, I probably would have, like, hated this movie. But since it came at the end and, like, I had already seen a good movie, that shit at the end, it is as much of a bullshit as it is, like, it didn't really bother me. I was just kind of like, okay, fuck this guy.
It makes it funnier.
Right, it makes it funny because you know that, like, this Frank Dux guy is so full of shit. It's like, okay. I don't know if you've ever looked up any of his shit before, or, like, his, what he looks like. It's like, dude, there's no way this guy won anything. But
I think he's been pretty much discredited.
Right. But it doesn't take away from the fact that, like, Jean-Claude Van Damme actually did all this shit in this movie. Like, he actually fought these dudes, like, you know, in these fight scenes, like, they were choreographed, but still, like, he did all this cool shit. So,
yeah, his martial arts are strong.
Yeah.
Like, his kicks are sweet.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a part where him and, like, the Russian dude, like, the kickboxer, I guess, like, were, like, going at it, and literally he just keeps piling on the fucking kicks while the dude's kicking him at the same time, and he just out kicks him and then kicks him in the head, and it was ridiculous. I was like, yeah. I was like, dude, holy shit, this is legit. He just kept going faster and faster, even in slow-mo, and then it was like, good lord, man.
All right, so I had a couple of other notes.
Okay, yeah.
In one of the fights, Chong Li like breaks a dude's leg, which was
that was gross. That reminded me of
really grotesque.
Tom Green show or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
a bone
Lord.
pops out and the guy's like, yo. Which I was like, dude, that sucks. But then I was like, wait, that guy like is out of the tournament, so I guess he's not completely like. It's not like he fucked up his chances because he was already out of the tournament. You know what I mean? At least he's not the dude that like he like kills this random fucking dude in the tournament. Chong Li.
So that's my last note. Like, they make a big deal towards the end when he kills the guy. But wasn't he murdering people like left and right all throughout the tournament?
What? No, I don't. Well, I don't think he specifically had killed anybody yet. But it is known that he has done it in the past because in the beginning of the movie, Jackson's like, last year, you know, Chong Li killed somebody in the middle of the ring. Poor bastard, never stood a chance. So you know that he's done it before, and if they had that much of a problem with it in a full contact sport, like, you know, they were saying it's full contact, doesn't matter what happens, then if they don't really care if somebody dies, then why are they so, like, they're so disgusted by it? You know what I mean? Either let it happen and it's completely full contact and people are being killed and you can't say a damn thing, or say, hey, it's full contact, but if you kill somebody, you're fucking out of the tournament and you're going to fucking jail. Like, you know what I mean? Instead, they're like, we're not going to say that, like, you can't kill somebody, but if you kill somebody, we're going to completely turn our backs on you, but you still win. So, like, if you really didn't give a shit about their approval, like Chong Li, you could just kill whoever the fuck you wanted and it wouldn't matter. Like, I found that part to be really stupid in this movie. Because they turn their backs on him, but he, like, doesn't give a fuck about it. He's like, okay, what the fuck? Like, he, like, is even like, yeah, fuck you guys. You know what I mean? Like, walks off, but he still advances in the tournament. It has, like, literally no bearing. And it's like the dude that looks like fucking Marvin Lewis that's the ref was, like, shocked. He was like, holy fuck, he killed a guy.
I know.
And I was like, dude, this guy's done this before. How are you shocked? Like...
Right. I thought that he'd broke at least a couple necks before that, but maybe
it's one of those things where I think that it's very, like, ambiguous. Like, he very well could have, but this is the first time, like you were saying, that they make it such a big deal that, like, everybody turns their backs on him. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, it's very mixed messages to me. Like, yeah, it's full contact, shit happens, but, like, nobody else had killed anybody. Like... You know, they were restrained enough to not fucking destroy the other, like, somebody else. I don't know. I just thought, I agree. I think that was just kind of a stupid part of it. And not only that, but I think the main guy in this movie, like, that's like the Kumite, like, master or whatever, they should have had, like, somebody else. Because that guy was, like, a limp dick. Like, I felt like he was very, like, That could have been anybody. Like, they needed, like, a more wise-looking, like, almost Miyagi, like, grandmaster that had more to say about shit. Whereas that guy was just, like, some, like, businessman they pulled off the street.
Well, that's what... So this is pretty much a very similar movie to Enter the Dragon. Which, have you ever seen that?
I have not.
It's awesome.
I've heard it's really legit.
It has exactly what you wanted. Like, the dude who runs the tournament becomes, like, the ultimate villain in the end.
Oh, shit.
And he's, like...
Nice.
He's, like, awesome. And he has a... Like, he's missing a hand, and he has all these different attachments he can, like, put on it to... Like, he has a claw at the end.
Wow.
But anyways.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think that's definitely a missed opportunity, even if this guy wasn't, like, a bad guy.
Yeah, there's nothing memorable about him.
He's not memorable. He gives that speech at the beginning. Like, he should have been more like a Gandalf or Dumbledore kind of character, where he was, like, somebody that, like, not only everybody seemed to respect, but, like, actually gave off some sort of charisma. Whereas, like, when everybody turns their back on, like, Chong Li, it's like, this is the first time this dude's ever really said anything, so... You know, or, like, done anything. Because, like, at first everybody's like, yeah, Chong Li, you killed that guy, that's awesome. And then, like, the dude gets up, turns his back on him, and then everybody else does. And it's like, okay, so you're turning your back on him just because this random fucking dude did? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I hear you.
But, yeah, I'll have to check out the other Bloodsport movies and see, maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I should just, like, not watch the other ones.
Are there sequels?
Yeah, I think so. Because it said franchise. When did this movie come out? When this movie came out? 88?
88.
So, let's see when the next one came out. Bloodsport series. I'm like, Kumater.
Oh, yeah, there's a bunch of them. Holy crap.
Kumater. Yeah, Bloodsport 2, the next Kumite, was 96. Then Bloodsport 3 was 97, and Bloodsport 4 is 99.
John Rhys Davies is in Bloodsport 3.
What? The Dark Kumite is 4. What? As it, like, because the fucking first one wasn't, like, dark at all. Like, people being killed, it was completely, like, legit on the up and up. What the fuck? The next Kumite. Who's in this movie? It doesn't really say. Fuck, I gotta, like... I don't know, man. Like, I feel like these can't be that great, honestly. Like, there's probably no way that these are any good. You know what I mean? Like, Bloodsport
Pat
2.
Morita's in the second one.
Is he?
Yeah. And James Hong. Dude, you gotta watch him.
I guess
they were both direct to video.
I guess Frank Dux doesn't come back for the second one.
Cool. And Jackson comes back in the second one.
Oh yeah, Donald Gibb.
I'm in. All right, next week we're doing Bloodsport 2. Maybe not.
Yeah, maybe not. Oh god, dude, I can't believe a talented Street Fighter ends up in a torturous prison camp. Where he meets Sun, who teaches him humility, self-respect, and the deadliest fighting discipline, the Iron Hand. Oh my god. Who's Sun? James Hong. Dude, fucking... I like how being in a fucking torturous prison camp isn't teaching him humility. Like, he's like super fucking uppity and like still like still like fucking full of himself, but like while he's being tortured. I'm like, huh? Who's in? Oh god, I bet the fourth one is fucking horrible. It looks like it just went on to this Alex Cardo guy. Like after, yeah, because he's in the second and the third one.
Yeah, I think that guy is like a stuntman. So
at first I thought it was fucking Van Damme, but then I looked and I was like, wait, that's not him.
what's his name, Daniel Bernhard.
Yeah,
The
Daniel.
actor.
Yeah.
He's a stuntman. And he was one of the agents in the Matrix.
Oh, okay.
I know I've seen him before.
Dude, what the fuck? So in like Bloodsport 2 and 3, he plays a guy named Alex Cardo, and he's the main guy in 4, but he's called Keller in that movie. When martial arts expert and cop John Keller infiltrates Death Row to uncover the truth behind the execution of several inmates, he joins the rank of prisoners forced to fight in battles staged for pleasure by a sadistic warden in Bloodsport: The Dark Kumite.
I mean, that sounds amazing. That synopsis sounds great.
Yeah, I can 100% guarantee this is probably the worst movie we've ever watched if we actually watch it. Yeah. It's got a 3 out of 10, dude.
I'm telling you, that's a great synopsis.
I mean, it is. But didn't you watch, like, the other movies with Batista and Stallone where they go to, like, get people out of the fucking prison and it was shit?
Yep.
And that sounded awesome.
I know. That's how they get you. And I just watched a movie called Jiu-Jitsu where Nicolas Cage fights aliens. And that was terrible. It was, like, unwatchable.
Alex Cardo must fight in a battle to... Wait. Alex Cardo must battle in a fight to end all fights. Not only for his own honor, but also...
Apparently it didn't end all fights.
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, it ended... Well, yeah, I guess you're right. Actually, it ended all the fights for Alex Cardo because he morphed into Keller. John Keller in the 4th one.
Maybe it's his brother.
He infiltrated... They have different last names. I mean, they could be... How could you be brothers with somebody but have different last names? You could have...
Half-brothers.
Yeah, half-brothers. Yeah, I guess that would work. Wait, how would that work?
You have the same mom and different dads.
Okay, yeah, that would work. Okay. Would that be like, say like we both had the same mom and like our dads like married and then divorced our moms? Or our mom? Like that kind of a thing?
Possible scenario.
I'm just trying to think.
You're like going into beautiful mind mode.
That's a possible scenario.
Do the math.
Well, I'm just trying to think how it could... Like, I think that's the only way I can think of that would actually make sense, right?
Yeah.
Or wait, no. Yeah. Because otherwise, like, if it was like... If not, then we would still have the same last name, right? Or no, I guess when you're born, you're not given your mom's last name.
Not in this country.
Not in this country. Well, no, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I guess it would depend on who the last name of the family was, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
You'd have to, yeah. Well, I mean, I guess that would work if maybe, like, no, yeah, because they'd have to be married, because otherwise, like, if our mother was the same, but, like, say, you know, we were sired by different fathers, then, like, if they weren't married at that time, then the mother would give us her last name, and if her last name, she just kept reverting back to her maiden name, then we'd have the same last name. You're like,
yeah,
I gotta go.
Well, no, I'm just doing some research now to figure out why he's a different character.
Oh, you're actually, like, looking up the real... the shit that makes sense, or the shit that actually... Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, we're still waiting on somebody to come up with like a movie for us to watch, and if nobody, I guess, comes up with one or like something like that, then we'll pick.
I'm pretty sure it's my turn.
Oh, yeah?
I've been waiting quite a while, and I've got a few that I think would be good choices.
I like how even if it wasn't your turn, you probably still would have said that because you want to watch a fucking movie that you pick out.
I would. I think you picked
Actually,
Demolition Man was the last one.
Yeah, well, the last one that either one of us picked, I was gonna have a pick, but I gave it up to start doing the people pick thing. And then we've just been kind of doing that ever since. But honestly,
but am I right that you picked the last one that we did?
Well,
or no?
Let's check. Let me go on the site here.
I wouldn't lie to you, sir.
I know you wouldn't. I just honestly, I'm totally fine with you picking this time anyway. Actually, we haven't picked one for ourselves in a while, so why don't we just do that? You go ahead and what do you want us to watch next week?
I'll run a couple by you offline.
Okay, sounds good.
Make it a mystery.
I'll tweet it out once you tell me or I guess we can keep it a secret. But we'll be doing it for sure next Saturday at 6 as well for Buddy Boys to listen to.
Sounds good. Buddy Boy Nation stronger than ever.
It's like the Ghost Nation show. The Buddy Boys. Buddy Boys are in effect.
Empty chairs.
They're all here. It's a standing room only. It's like, I'm like, what if we had fucking different fathers but the same mother? Holy shit! You're just like, it could happen. The Buddy Boys. The boys are back in town. Okay.
Oh, man.
Well, any other things to say about this film, or?
No. Once again, it's fun to watch, fun to talk about.
Yeah. Cool. Well, I will see you on the flip side, sir, and we will do this next Saturday.
See you then.
See you then, man.
All right.
Peace. Bye. Cool. Well, thanks for coming by, everybody, and we'll see you next Saturday. And I'll be on here tomorrow at 8 o'clock.